clicked on that already. Girls, we're working on our worksheet again today. Were you able to get our stuff in the freezer? Were you able to get the stuff in the freezer? Okay. Well, where's everybody else? Can you hurry up? Here we go. All right. All right, you all, what we're going to be doing today is we're still working on that worksheet that we started yesterday on prisms and cylinders. We worked on volume yesterday, which would be what it took to fill the thing up. Today we're working on the lateral area, which is just going around the sides that are not the bases. And then total surface area, which is the area of all the faces of the prism together. Okay. So we're still working on the worksheet. We're going to be working on the prism side first. We're going to do some on the prism side, and then we will talk about the cylinder side a little bit. Okay. So we've got our worksheet on prisms that we're going to be working on. So with our prisms yesterday, for the volume, remember, was just the area of the base times the height of the prism. The height of the prism is the distance between the two bases together. Now, when we're doing the prisms, if it has a shape other than a rectangle in it, that shape is your base. So like on number 1, number 4, number 5, those are rectangular prisms because their base shape is a rectangle. On number 2, number 3, number 6, number 7, those are triangular prisms because their base shape is a triangle. Okay? Now, we're going to focus on just the rectangular prisms first, and we're going to work on talking about lateral area and surface area, the total surface area. So when we are doing rectangular prisms, I already said the base is a rectangle. So to find what they call the lateral area of a prism, they use LA to represent lateral area. When you're finding the lateral area of a prism, you take the perimeter of the base times the height. So the perimeter of your rectangle, does anybody remember the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle?
L.
No. Nobody remembers that. Perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Because you have 2 of the lengths and 2 of the widths. Because perimeter, remember, just adds up the sides. So The lengths of a rectangle are the same and the width are the same. So that's what we're going to be using when we're talking about finding the lateral area for these rectangular prisms. Okay, so for number 1 on your Prisms worksheet, for lateral area, we take the rectangle's perimeter, because that's our base, and we multiply it by the height of the prism. So if you look at your picture for number 1, the base is the 5 and the 2. So what you're going to have is you're going to have 2 times the 5 plus 2 times the 2. Because this is our length of our base, this is our width of our base. And then I multiply that by the height of the prism, which is the 3. So you're going to have 2 times the length plus 2 times the width in parentheses, and then you're going to multiply that answer by the height of the prism. To find the lateral area, you find the perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, that's the easiest way. Now, when you think about lateral area, it's just all the sides that go around. So here's my prism. Okay, so if I'm talking about lateral area, I'm talking about the ones that go around the sides. So I could find the area of this rectangle, the area of this rectangle, the area of the rectangle on the back, the area of the one on the side, and add all 4 together. Okay, that would be the lateral area. But it's easier to do the perimeter because that covers all the way around, and then just multiply it by the height. Okay, that's just the shortcut way to do it. Okay, so we're on our worksheet. We're finding our lateral area. Okay, so 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. 10 plus 4 is 14. 14 times 3
43.
is 42. So our lateral area is 42. That would be the sides that are standing up, connecting the 2 bases together. Okay, your base in number 1 is the top and bottom of it's like a box. Okay, so the bases are the top and bottom, and the lateral area is just adding up all the sides. Okay, now for the surface area, for your formula for surface area, it has it at the top of your worksheet, but I also put it up here on the board. It takes the lateral area answer. So if you miss the lateral area, you're also going to miss the surface area because you use the answer from one and the other. You take your lateral area and you add the area of the top and bottom, the 2 bases together with it. So my area was 42 plus 2 times the area of my base. Now remember, this is a rectangle, so the area of a rectangle is simply length times width, right? So the length was 5 and my width was 2. So I have 2 times 5 times 2. Okay? Yeah, no, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. I have 2 times 5 times 2. So 5 times 2 is? Oh, y'all make me sad. 5 times 2 is?
10.
10. 2 times 10 is? 20. 42 plus 20 is 62. So that's lateral area and surface area for a rectangular prism. Okay. You find the perimeter of the base, so the perimeter of the rectangle, and multiply it by the height for the lateral area. You take that answer plus the area of the 2 rectangle bases to get the total surface area. Now on your worksheet, they just call it total area, but most places call it the total surface area. They use that word surface area on there. Okay? So, everybody got number 1? Now you should already have the volume answer from the other day. Okay? Now, If you notice, I'm not doing the triangular ones yet. We'll do them in a minute. I want to focus on rectangles at one time, and then we'll go back and do the ones that have the triangular base. So I'm skipping to number 4. Okay, so you're looking at your picture for number 4 on your worksheet. Okay, your picture for number 4 on your worksheet right here. I'm finding the perimeter of the base times the height for my lateral area. So my base is this rectangle that it's sitting on the bottom. So its length is 8 and its width is 4. So to find the perimeter of that, I'd have 2 times 8 plus 2 times 4. And then I multiply it by the height, which is this segment going up and down on the side, which was 2. So that's what we work out for our lateral area. Okay. Now there are some of you that I cannot see you, and I'm tired of you constantly turn your camera on and off, and I'm getting ready to just kick you out and you'll be done. Because it's class time now. You had time in between classes to do whatever you needed to do. This is my time. You work what's in parentheses first. So you take care of multiplication before addition. So 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 4 is 8. 16 plus 8 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. So your lateral area for number 4, wait a minute, I didn't do that right. There? Yeah. Your lateral area for number 4 is 48. Okay. Now to find my surface area, I take that lateral area, which was 48, plus 2 times the length and width of my base. Remember, the base was the rectangle it was sitting on, which was 8 by 4. So 8 times 4 is 32. 2 times 32 is 64. So then I have 48 plus 64. 48 plus 64.
112.
112.
Yeah.
Okay. So my lateral area, the 4 rectangles standing up and down, add to 48. The total surface area, the 4 rectangles standing up and down plus the top and bottom, equal 112. Okay. Now, you're doing the same basic thing for number 8, but I wanted to do it because it's not just a rectangular prism. It has a special name. It's a what? If all the sides are the same length, it's what we call a cube.
Oh, cute. Yep.
Special. So I'll even put the volume up here because this is one you were supposed to have tried to find the volume on your own yesterday. Remember, your volume is length times width times height for the rectangular prism. But on here, remember, they're all the same length. So you could say it's just the length of an edge. Remember, that's what the little sides are called, edges. Okay, the length of the edge cubed. So it was what, 3? So 3 cubed is 27. How many of you who actually did your volume or tried to do your volume yesterday like you were supposed to got 27 for the volume on number 8? You get it? I see a couple of you saying yeah. Some of you probably didn't do it. Some of you, I can't even see you. I just see background of your room. Or just dark. Like Monica, all I see is dark. All right. Now, for the lateral area, since it's the cube, okay, because it's the perimeter of the base, but to find the perimeter of a square, all the sides are the same length, right? So you take 4 times the length of the edge, because all the sides are the same length, that's your perimeter, and then you multiply it by your height, which is also that. So we have a special formula for a cube if you want. It's just 4 times this, the area of the square. Can't talk. So I have 4 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. So I get 36. Okay, because on the cube, if I'm doing the lateral area, the lateral area is the 4 sides that go around, so it's each side's a square, so you find the area of the square and you multiply it by 4 because there's 4 of them. If I'm doing the total surface area for a cube, all 6 sides are the same size square, so you can use the formula 6 times the edge squared. It's still doing the same thing that we were doing on the other, it's just because it's a cube, it's a little bit easier to just find the area of the square times 6. So I'd have 6 times 3 squared. So my total surface area would be 54 for number 8. Okay, but I wanted to do that one because it is a little bit different because it is a cube. Now, number 5 and number 9 are going to be like number 1 and number 4, right? Y'all agree with me? 5 and 9 are like 1 and 4. They're rectangular prisms. So
Yep.
you have the perimeter of the base times the height, and then you have that lateral area answer plus 2 times the area of the base. Okay, so we'll set up number 5, and then you all can try number 9 on your own. So for number 5, for my lateral area, it's like these here. Do my perimeter of my base. My base is the rectangle it's sitting on. Okay, so it's 4 and 10 on the bottom. So I have 2 times 4 plus 2 times 10 times the height going up and down, which was 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 10 is 20. So I have 28 times 4. Right?
28 times 4. Let me look it up. Because I don't know.
Oh, there I am.
112.
112. I was looking at the wrong problem where I worked it out and was like, I don't have those numbers at all, but I wasn't looking at number 5. I was looking at number 6, that's why I didn't have those numbers. All right, and then my surface area is that lateral area answer, which was 112, plus 2 times the area of the base. So 2 times 4 times 10, because that's the rectangle, that's the base on the bottom. Okay, so 4 times 10 is 40. 2 times 40 is 80. So I have 112 plus 80.
Which is 192.
Is the 192. Okay, so we get those. Yes, no, maybe? Find the perimeter at the base, the rectangle on the bottom, times the height is your lateral area. Then you take that answer plus 2 times the area of the rectangle on the bottom, and that gives you your total surface area. So everybody should try number 9. Everybody should try number 9 real quick. And then we'll talk about the triangular ones. Is anybody getting answers for number 9?
Almost.
Okay, who can tell me the lateral area? Anybody tell me the lateral area?
12 plus what? 9, 2, 18?
Mm-mm.
Was that 18?
Nope. Because the perimeter of the base is 18, but then you had to multiply by 2. So your lateral area should have been 36. And then your surface area would be what?
36 plus 3. I don't know.
Okay. I'm not going to just rely on one person to give me answers, so hopefully y'all figured it out. Because some of you I don't think are trying them. So, all right, on the triangular ones, they are different. You're doing the same basic formula. Perimeter of the base times the height, but it's a triangle. So to find the perimeter wait a minute, what are we doing? Perimeter of the base times the height. So for the triangle, you add all the sides together going around the triangle. Okay? So whatever the 3 sides are, because how many sides are in a triangle? There's 3.
3.
So add the 3 sides of the triangle together and then multiply it by the height. But you have to know all 3 sides of the triangle. Now, if you look at your picture for number 2, you have the bottom of the triangle down here is 3. You have the side going up here is 4. We don't know the hypotenuse. So what's that theorem we can use to find the hypotenuse? Pythagorean
Theorem.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. So 3 squared is 9 plus 4 squared, which is 16, is equal to x squared. 9 plus 16 is 25, equal to the x squared. When you have something squared, to get it by itself, you do the opposite, which is square root. Square root of 25 is 5. When you take the square root, it gets it out from underneath that square root sign. So this side here is 5. So when I'm going to find the perimeter of the base for a triangular prism, you just add the 3 sides together. Okay? So you're going to have the 3 sides added together, 3 plus 4 plus 5, times the height of the prism, which that's the distance between the 2 triangles, which on number 2 was a 2. So you're going to add that together and then multiply it by 2. So 3 plus 4 is what?
7.
9.
7.
3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 5 is
11.
24.
5 is 12, and then 12 times 2.
24.
24.
So you get your lateral area is 24. Because what you're doing is on a triangular prism, this is the lateral area is the area of the 3 rectangles that go around the prism. Okay, it's not including the 2 triangle bases, it's the 3 rectangles added together. So you've got your length of each rectangle times the width of each rectangle to get it. Okay, now for the total surface area, it's going to take that answer but then add on 2 of the areas of the base, the 2 triangles on the end. So to find the area of a triangle, you have to know that formula. Area of a triangle is what? Do you know?
Length times width.
No, for a triangle,
Oh, I don't know.
it's 1/2 times base times height. The base and the height are the 2 sides that were perpendicular to each other. Okay? So on this one, you take your lateral area, 24, plus 2 times 1/2 times the base of that triangle, which was the 3, and the height of the triangle, which was the 4. So when you take 2 times 1/2, though, what's going to happen?
It's gonna
cancels,
cancel
right?
out.
And so 3 times 4 is, so 24 plus 12,
36.
36 for your total surface area. Okay? So for number 3, for our triangle, remember we talked about it yesterday. It was a special right triangle. It was an isosceles right triangle, a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So these 2 sides here were both 4, and then the hypotenuse down there was the 4 square root of 2. So for my lateral area, I'll have 4 plus 4 plus 4 square root of 2. And then I got to multiply that by the height, the distance between the 2 triangle sides, which is a 2. So we add what's in there together, and then we're going to multiply it by 2. So when you are doing that on this one, 4 plus 4 is 8, right? Everybody's good with that?
Yeah. Not 9.
8.
8.
Now, I cannot add this 8 with this 4 square root of 2 because they're not alike. This has that radical on there, so it kind of makes it on its own, okay? So what we're going to do when we get to this point, we can add the ones that were constants together, and then we're going to use the what property to make the parentheses go away.
I forgot what it's called. Distributive property.
Distributive property, where you take what's outside, you multiply it by each thing inside. So I have 2 times 8 is 16, plus 2 times 4 square root of 2. You can only multiply the stuff that's outside of the radical together. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then square root of 2. Okay, the stuff that's outside can get multiplied together. So that's your lateral area. Now for the surface area, you take that whole answer and you add 2 times the area of the base. So it's 2 times 1/2 times, now when you're looking at your prism for number 3, the base and the height of the triangle are the ones that make the right angle. Okay, so they're both 4. So I have 1/2 times 4 times 4. Now remember what we already talked about, when you take 2 times 1/2, that part cancels out. So 4 times 4 is 16. Now, just like what we did in parentheses up here, you can only combine the parts that don't have a radical on them together. So I have 16 here and I have 16 here. So 16 plus 16 equals
12.
32.
2 plus the 8 square root of 2. So they look a little weird because you have the radicals in there, but you're still doing the same process. You're taking the area of the base times 2 and adding it to the area of all the rectangle sides. This is the area of the rectangle sides. This is the area of the rectangle sides plus the area of the 2 triangles. Okay, so that's what we're doing on those. Okay, so the next one that we had that was a triangle, a triangular prism, was number 6. Okay, on number 6, you'll notice I drew my little triangle over there again because I'm missing one of my side measurements in my picture. If you look at your picture, you've got the 8 You don't know this part down here at the bottom, and you've got the hypotenuse is 17. So I have to find my other side of my triangle before I can find my lateral area. So again, we're using our Pythagorean theorem. So when I go to do my Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to have 8 squared plus x squared equals 17 squared. 8 squared is 64. 17 squared is 289. And then I've got to get the x by itself. So the opposite of adding is subtracting. So I'll subtract 64 to each side. So I have x squared equals 225. And then the opposite of squaring something was square root. So the square root of 225 is 15. So my missing side measurement down here is 15. So when I go to find my lateral area, it's the perimeter of the triangle times the height of the prism. So for the perimeter of the triangle, I have 8 plus 15 plus 17 times the height of the prism, which is the length of the segment connecting the two triangles together, which is also an 8 on this picture. So that's what we got to work out for our lateral area for number 6. So you got 8 plus 15 plus 17, and then you're going to multiply that by 8.
Okay, let me multiply that. 8 plus 15 plus 17. 159. I think. I calculated that right.
320.
Thank you. That sounds much more like what I got. Because you have 8 plus 15 plus 17.
Oh, I didn't put the
40. Yeah, then 40 times 8. I don't know what you did. All right, so this is my lateral area. So you take your lateral area, and then you add it times the area of the triangle twice. Because there's 2 triangles, one on the front, one on the back. So to find the area of the triangle, remember, it's 1/2 base times height. The base and the height are the 2 sides that are perpendicular to each other. So it's the 15 and the 8. So I have 1/2 times 15 times 8. So the 2 times 1/2 cancel. 15 times 8 is 120. So 320 plus 120.
320.
I already wrote it down. It's 440 for your total surface area. Okay? You getting that?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at number 7. On number 7, it's a triangular prism. My lateral area is equal to the perimeter of the triangle times the height. So on this triangle, it is similar to the triangle we had in number 3. It's a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. So if this side is 3, this side is 3, this is 3 square root of 2. So I'm going to have 3 plus 3 plus 3 square root of 2 times the segment connecting the front and back triangle together, which was 10. So this is going to be very similar to what we did on number 3. 3 plus 3 is 6, but I cannot add it with the 3 square root of 2 part. So I have to do distributive property. So 10 times 6 is 60. 10 times 3 is 30 square root of 2. So I have 60. Buddy, look and see if Harry Chafin truck's here. You sound like a truck. Okay, so I've got 60 plus 30 square root of 2. Okay. Let Dad know. All right. So we got, that's our lateral area. Okay, so now for my total surface area, I take that plus the area of the triangle. Remember, the area of triangle is 1/2 base times height, but I got 2 triangles in the figure, the one on the front and the one on the back. So I have 2 times 1/2 times the base and the height of my triangle are perpendicular, so that's the 2 3s. So 3 times 3 is 9, the half cancels the 2. So I have 9 added to this. You can only add the ones that are outside of radicals together. So I can add the 6 and the 9 together, so it's 69 plus 30 square root of 2. Okay, so that was number 7. Kind of getting the idea of lateral area versus surface area, yes or no? They're 2 different things. Lateral area does not include the bases. Surface area includes the bases. All right. Now, you all should be able to try number 10 on your own, okay? But you can do that later, because I want to talk about cylinders. Cylinders are easy. Cylinders, you have set formulas because they all have the same shape base. Of what shape? What shape is the base of a cylinder?
A circle.
A circle. So they're easy. You've got set formulas, okay? They're on your worksheet. You have them up there at the top of your worksheet in that little box. You have them up here on the board, okay? For the cylinders, their lateral area is 2 times pi times r times h. So let's think about this. Here's my cylinder, right? Everybody see my cylinder? If I'm talking about the lateral area, am I talking about the circle on the top and bottom?
No.
No, I'm talking about the side going around, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so the side going around, if I take out my net and unfold it, is what shape?
Divide sign.
No, the part that goes around is not a divide sign. The part that goes around is which part? Can you get your shirts off your face? What shape is this right here? This right here.
It's a rectangle.
It's a
Looks like
rectangle.
a rectangle.
It's a rectangle. So your lateral area of a cylinder is the area of this rectangle. Now remember, this rectangle curves around to make the circle, correct?
Yep.
So the distance around a circle is called its what? Starts with a C.
Circumference.
Circumference. For a regular polygon, it's perimeter. For a circle, it's circumference. So your formula for the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. So basically, you're still doing the same thing we did over there. You're taking the perimeter of the base. It's just the base is a circle. So it's 2 pi r multiplied by the height. Okay? And then for the surface area, it takes that rectangle's answer and adds on the 2 circles. Okay? Which the area of the circle is pi r squared. So that's our 2 formulas for the back side of the worksheet. So we should be able to do a couple of these real quick, and then you can work on finishing them up. Okay? Now, for number 1, our lateral area says 2 times pi times the radius times the height. So the radius in number 1 is what?
7.
No.
Oh no, 3.
The radius is 3 and the height is 7. So that's your formula. 2 times pi times 3 times 7. So 3 times 7 is 21. 21 times 2 is 42. And then you just leave the pi on the end. Don't bother multiplying with the 3.14. Just leave pi in your answer. Okay? Now, for the surface area, I take that answer, but then I have to add 2 times pi times the radius squared. I have to add the 2 circles on the top and bottom. So the radius again was 3. So it's 2 times pi times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So I have 42 pi plus 18 pi. So it's 60 pi. You just add them together and you're done. Okay? Lateral area, surface area, cylinders, a lot easier. You don't have to worry about, okay, is my base a rectangle? Is my base a triangle? Is my base a trapezoid? All the bases are circles. So you have your set formula, you plug them in. Number 2 for my lateral area. 2 times pi times, what's the radius?
8.
8, and the height is?
3.
3.
Okay, so 8 times 3?
24.
24. 24 times 2?
48.
48. 48
Pi.
Surface area, you take the lateral area and then you add the area of the 2 circles. Again, your radius was 8. So the radius of a circle is, the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. But you've got 2 of them. You have the one on the top and the one on the bottom. So it's 2 times pi times the radius squared. So then 8 squared is 64. 64 times 2 is 128. So 48 plus 128 pi.
Oh, well, I don't know. Let me look it up.
178.
Oh.
Ooh, I was so close.
76.
176. You were close. Okay, so
Gotta be faster
are
than that.
the cylinder ones a little bit easier?
Yeah.
I think so. I think they're easier because you got set formula. Okay. Let's do number 5. Because number 5 and number 6, we had to do something on them yesterday. Number 5 and number 6 were kind of similar to what we did on 3 and 7 on the other worksheet. You have that triangle. It looks really squished because the way they had to try to draw the 3-dimensional figure on the paper, but the 2 radii, the one going across from the center and the one going from the center to the back, are going to be the same length. So if this is 3 square root of 2, then both of these are 3. So your radius is actually equal to 3. Okay, and we talked about that yesterday when we were doing our volume. So on number 5, for my lateral area, I have 2 times pi times the radius, which is 3, times my height of my cylinder, which is
5.
5. So 3 times 5 is 15, times 2 is 30 pi. Okay? Now my next one, for my surface area, I take my lateral area and I add the area of the circle on the top and the bottom. So 2 times pi times the radius again, which was 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So I have 30 pi plus 18 pi, and I get 48 pi. Okay, so cylinder one's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at number 9, and that'll be the last one we talk about today. You can work on others. Okay, on number 9, let's check your volume first. You were supposed to have done volume yesterday. So let's see if you did your volume right for number 9. For your volume for a cylinder, it was pi times the radius squared, the area of the base, which is a circle, times the height. Okay, it was the area of the base, the bottom, the circle, times the height. So you would have had pi times the radius, which was, is that a 4?
Looks like it. Yeah.
Squared times 6.
6.
So 4 squared is 16. So you have 16 times 6. You should have got what for your volume on number 9? 16
96.
times 6. What'd you say?
96.
96. So it's 96 pi. That's your volume. Okay, that was the one of them you were supposed to have tried yesterday on your own if you actually did it. But you know. Now my lateral area is 2 times pi times the radius times the height. Okay, so I have 2 times pi times the radius, which was 4, times the height, which was 6. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48 pi. Surface area is lateral area, 48 pi, plus 2 pi r squared. Because you got 2 circles on the top and the bottom. So 4 squared is 16. 16 times 2 is 32.
32.
So 48 plus 32
80.
is 80
Yeah.
pi. Okay? So what do you think I want you to try to work on?
The rest of the
Finishing these up, okay? Finish finding your volume if you didn't do it yesterday, and your lateral area and your surface area. Now, originally on your lesson plans, for those of you who actually bothered to look at those in My School Works, it said you were going to do a quiz today, but I don't want to give you a quiz when we just finished doing this. So we'll wait, and I may send that to you tomorrow, or I may just have you wait and work on them on Monday when you don't have Zoom meeting. So that way you just got all day Monday. You can work on them whenever you feel like in the middle of doing FLVS or whatever. Okay? So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Make sure you finish the spreadsheet. Yes?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. I'll see you
miss.
tomorrow
Bye.
at 11. Of course, Pedro doesn't let me see him. He keeps hiding his camera. He just loses points every day.
Sorry, miss.
Yeah, whatever.
What?
Bye.